Hello and welcome to Paper Tuesdays. He's Michael Dwyer, I'm Marc Halpin. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm James's replacement. I'm 26 years old. My hobbies include rallying cars.
Yes.
And that's what I'm here to talk about today. Rallying cars. You ever see it going on corners real fast now?
No, it's good, yeah.
Yeah, quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they go... Don't you got a rally lad?
Yeah.
Some job.
Full-time rally man now.
Full-time rally man. I just love it.
Yeah.
Real fast cars now.
Right.
Yeah. There used to be a lad in our school who went around pretending he was on a motorbike. The whole time. Remember him?
No, I don't actually.
I remember his name. He used to go around always revving at women.
Did he?
Remember? But this, like, you could see him on a corridor by himself. And
Was he in the year above us? Was it prod?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
He was, but he'd be going up in it. You could walk onto an empty corridor, and before you turn onto it, you'd hear little revs from the bottom far end of the corridor. You come onto it, and you yeah. He comes running towards you. He got done better than me in leaving.
What, he did?
Probably. Now, Michael,
You're a father.
I'm a father, yes.
I would like to know 3 things that you would like to share since Laura came into the world.
Okay, the first big one is everything is a lie about parenthood.
Really?
It's a lie to get you to propagate your genes. So if you talk, this is obviously facetious, but if you're a new parent and you talk to parents after you've had a baby, it's not congratulations. It's sympathy.
Okay.
If someone congratulates you about 2 weeks after you've had a baby, they haven't had babies.
Okay.
It's the people who have kids and they're like, well, how are you getting on? Are you all right? Because it's not easy. It's actually very hard. The second is the whole way through pregnancy, you're focused on the pregnancy itself and the birth and the labour. And you think, oh, sure, we'll just have a baby, then it'll be fine. This is actually the hardest part. Third is, what would be third? Don't underestimate. I was kind of the view, lose a couple hours sleep, it'll be fine. Sleep is huge and it is hard, even losing like 2 hours of sleep every night. That's difficult, but it's all worth it. It's fine. I don't regret having the baby. She's great. But yeah, those are the 3 things I take away, and they're all negative.
Laura, you've a bit of work to do.
Yeah. No, she's great.
She is great.
Yeah.
I met her once and had a chat in the snug in French's. And what really noticed me about, obviously sleep, losing sleep, big deal, Marc. I understand. I'm here for you. But when she cries or whatever, when she hears, because you're her father, when she has her head to your heart, she stops crying. And that's beautiful. Now, I'm sure there are times that I haven't witnessed where she doesn't stop crying.
Yeah.
That's her prerogative as well. She's allowed to do it. But
Yeah. All feelings are accepted.
yeah, I just think that she's in a place of, I know, well, look, it's very easy for me to say, I haven't had to feed this belly my tit at all once. Not once yet. But I think she's in a place of unconditional love that, like, you know, it's just a very exciting time, and it's great to share this with you.
Yeah, it's very strange that, like, she's this thing that, like, doesn't speak to me or do anything for me. All she does is lie there and cry and shit and eat. But I'd still happily stand in front of a bus so she wouldn't feel pain, which is very strange. And I don't know where that comes from. It's obviously some sort of genetic switch or something that's happened. But it is, the 100% my perspective has changed on everything. Like, everything else is secondary. Like, things that I thought were important, like fitness and my job and like GA and all that stuff, that's all just things I do. Like, that, they're all secondary to her now straight away. And it kind of it doesn't take away, like, those things are still important, but they're always second to her. And that is kind of freeing in those things. So I'm not as anxious about, like, playing sport or being the strongest I can be, or, like, I will try to continue to do it, but if I don't, it's fine. And that nearly helps in those things because they're not as important as they were before, which I find kind of freeing.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot of fear, like not fear, but worry. Like it does come into my head that something could happen to her, or you know. But that's always going to be there. Always for the rest of my life now. That's the way it's going to be. Yeah. But I'd rather have that than not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the labour was very hard. It's hard. I hate watching people in pain, especially breed. That was very hard because I couldn't do anything about it. I just had to kind of sit there and watch all that for 36 hours. And so what happened was, when I go through the labour story for the podcast, so it was about 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday night. Breed started getting pains. She woke me up then about 3:30 in the morning. And so when contractions go for a minute long, 5 minutes apart, that's when you call the hospital. So that happened at about 8. We called them. They told us, stay there if you want or come down if you need pain relief. So we waited till 9. We went down then to Wexford at 9 o'clock. They sent us back home at 10, saying you can stay here if you want, but it's easier to labour at home and it'll probably happen faster because it'll be more relaxed. So we did that until about 5 p.m. We were at home. Then it got too much. So we went back down to Wexford, and they done all tests and stuff. She was only 1 centimetre dilated. By 10:30 at night, I had to go home. The visiting hours were over. She was 3 centimetres, and they told me, look, you're probably going to be called back down in the morning. So you go home and get a night's sleep and you come back down. So I left at 10:30, went home. I was in bed for an hour. I got called back. Breed was being brought to the labour ward. So when I left Breed in the maternity ward, she had got this drug to help relax her while labour could still go on, but she would be able to fall asleep. But that seems to have just made things progress way faster because she was way more relaxed. So I got a call about an hour later, went back down, and she was in the labour ward. Now when I left her in the maternity ward, she was falling asleep. She was grand, very relaxed, very quiet. And I don't know why I was kind of expecting it to be the same when I got back, but it wasn't. I walked into the labour room that Breed was in, and it was just like Breed was sitting up on the bed, contorting, twisting her back different ways, huffing the gas. The gas was making really loud noise. She was making moaning noises. The nurse was like writing stuff down, and like Breed was calling me over straight away. And I'd only had an hour's sleep, and the night before I was up since 3:30. So I went in straight away. I was talking to Breed for 2 minutes. The lad with the epidural came in straight away. And so Breed had to have her back to your man injecting the epidural. So I was facing Breed and your man putting the epidural in. So I seen the epidural, the big needle going into Breed's back. And all the while he was doing this, now Breed was on drugs, she was on the gas and the other stuff. So she was like kind of out of it a little bit. But your man was saying, you can't move here. You have to make sure your shoulders are rounded and you don't move. And Breed was like on the gas and stuff. So she was kind of swaying. And as he was putting it in, he goes, you move to the right. Remember that, you move to the right. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, is that in case she fucking, after putting in the wrong place and she's hurt or fucking, I was thinking she could be paralysed now. And he done that anyway and took it out and she was fine. But I nearly fainted then because of that. And my legs went weak. I started sweating. So after it came out, I went and sat down. Bree goes, what the fuck are you doing? Come back here. So I had to get straight back up and stand in front of her again. And then that was about maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. And then it kind of took until 7 in the morning. We slept from 4 till 6. And then she started pushing at 7. Baby was born at 20 to 8. And so she pushed him for about 40 minutes. Baby came out. It had meconium she had meconium in her waters, which meant that she could have inhaled some of her own excrement. And so she had to get her lungs suctioned when she was born. So I get to see that as well. That wasn't easy. And then she was handed to me and she tried to breastfeed off me straight away. She got a mouthful of chest hair and just made a big face like that. But yeah, that was basically it. There was a shift change at 8 in the morning. The baby was born at 20 to. So while they didn't work on Breed till 8, and then they just switched and left Breed in the stirrups and all. They didn't tell her anything. We were waiting about 10 minutes. We called the midwife and they're like, what happens now? And they're like, she shouldn't have left you like that. Sorry about that. And then the next morning they came back into us again and they were like, we just seen in your chart you didn't get antibiotics, which they were supposed to give her straight away after. And then they gave her to her next day, all because of a shift change. So yeah, that was basically it. Since then, I haven't slept.
But like to see Bree go through that must be. Like,
It's hard. It's hard because I can't do anything. I just have to sit there. And like, what can you do? But it's fine. It has to be done.
yeah, but you kind of accompany her on the journey of it.
Yeah. But like, look, she's the one that done it all. I just sort of sat there, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not easy, but it's worth it, I suppose. And I enjoyed it all, the excitement of it, I suppose. I'd do it all again.
Oh,
Bree probably wait. Who's this? James?
James, what do you think you'd do if Katie Dunbar was in labour? What would you do if Katie Dunbar was in labour?
If she was in labour?
Yeah.
Whose baby's that?
Sure, I don't need to worry about that.
Okay, that's all right. You're live on the Flood Show.
We're live.
Are you going for pints tonight? It's your birthday on Tuesday.
I might go. I might wet me whistle. Yeah.
You might wet your whistle. There you go.
Whistle. I need to see how the match against our club goes now. 5 o'clock.
Very good, very good. And any flood on the road thoughts for today?
Sure. It's a bit cloudy today, isn't it?
It is a bit cloudy, yeah. What do you think of the weather, Mark?
I see a tweet there. It's like a forest fire against a heat wave, and so what can I think?
I tried to take Saturdays off, Michael, just to give the old brain a rest.
Good idea, James. You take it off there, and best of luck against Arklow today, alright? We'll talk to you. Good luck. Thanks, good luck. James Flood. Now, Mark, I'm sure we'll return to Nora and Breed and the life every episode, but for now, I want to talk about evolution.
Okay.
Yes. So, the whole...
It's not real.
It's not real.
Case closed.
My eyes have been opened lately. The fact that we are constantly evolving, that we physically, mentally, spiritually, this is a process taking place every day. We are participating in it, and Nora is the latest offering into this evolution process.
Yeah.
So I wanted to drill down into it a little bit, and apparently, so when I said this to Ashley, she was saying how one day will the appendix become. Will the appendix change? Because at the moment we've no use for it as such.
Yeah.
But and Darwin was of the view that we once had a use for it when we had leafy diets, but now we don't because we have meat. I think that was his point. But apparently they found out that monkeys' appendixes have evolved 32 times, and it may protect the gut bacteria. So so the appendix is evolving. Everything is evolving, even though we think of it as a useless thing that is only taken out when it causes harm.
Yeah.
So, where would I go with this? What has happened? How have we evolved lately? So, we are cooling down. The average temperature in 1868 was 98.6 degrees. The average temperature now is 97.9 degrees Fahrenheit.
The human body.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So is that because, that was only a slight difference, is that because we're living in warmer houses? We don't need to be defending from the elements a lot?
Global warming?
Global warming. How, if the earth is warming up,
We're cooling down.
we're cooling down. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe,
This is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah. But when I was looking at evolution, it reminded me of how you, the topic that piqued your interest, comparing men today with our grandparents.
Yeah.
Like that, there is a significant difference there, isn't there?
Is it evolution or devolution there? Is it because everything else is evolving, technology is evolving, biology is devolving? Because we're not, like, you look at Neanderthals and stuff, like obviously their brains are smaller, but physically they're much more robust. Are we becoming smaller? Like, we are becoming smaller and like thinner, fatter. We're becoming not as healthy or robust people, but we're becoming more intelligent and we've far more resources. So is that like, is the progress becoming externalized?
Yeah. This is kind of linked to what So there's this fella called Teilhard de Chardin. He was a French fella, right? And he believed that evolution has taken place in 4 processes. Cosmogenesis, the evolution of the physical universe. Biogenesis, life evolving in the universe. So that was fairly acceptable. Everyone thought that's fine and dandy. Then he went and said that there has been a psychogenesis in the form of an evolution of consciousness, and a new genesis with the evolution of reflective thought. These are both unique to humans, but the thing is, there's no verification method for this, you know, so it can't be tested, whereas the other ones can. Evolution now for Teilhard, when he was writing this back in the 1930s, he was thinking that evolution will arise from the human mind's exercise, and he predicted that human minds would eventually form a web of reflective consciousness enveloping the earth. And then he predicted an omega point where consciousness fuses with God. So then you have this very grand hope and very, very grand idealism, but as then you described, you pitch that against how technology hasn't supported our future development.
Oh, well, it has, I suppose. I was just kind of thinking about how the body is kind of declining, whereas the consciousness or the technology is increasing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that does make sense. That it is constant progress, isn't it? When you look at it, like.
Yeah. It's a big thing, like I've seen these charts where, like, you know, like the man rising from caveman and becoming taller. And then the last image is someone hunched over, and I am this, hunched over at a computer screen. Yeah. You know, like, and that's crazy. But yeah, that's the way it is at the moment. But is it down to going to Marc Health and Fitness and like just pursuing an active lifestyle?
Absolutely. Yes.
But
sure, don't we picture aliens as being really advanced and technological, and we picture them as having these big, huge heads and tiny bodies?
Oh, yeah. And you think that because
that's the way advancement, that's the picture, like huge brains and tiny bodies.
Yeah, I never thought of that, how we project onto aliens. That's very interesting.
You have your big red book there, Michael, as well.
I do. Now, I was reading this in Italy, and I got to this page, and I had to drink it in, man. I just lay back and oh my gosh, this man, he had to have been on some strong shit. And then I went back then a few weeks after our podcast. I was like, right, go to the paragraph, Michael. And I said, is that what I was so enamored by? And right, so I read it. I reread it there last night, and I just got to give it to you now. The greatest truth becomes the greatest lie. The brightest day becomes darkest night. As day requires night, and night requires day, so meaning requires absurdity, and absurdity requires meaning. Day does not exist through itself. Night does not exist through itself. The reality that exists through itself is day and night. So the reality is meaning and absurdity. Noon is a moment. Midnight is a moment. Morning comes from night. Evening turns into night. But evening comes from the day, and morning turns into day. So meaning is a moment and a transition from absurdity to absurdity. And absurdity, only a moment and a transition from meaning to meaning.
Okay, that took a lot of focus. So everything is temporary. Well, yeah.
I suppose,
yeah. No, it's tough to follow, but I think I kind of grasp now. Obviously, it might be.
Well, like it's basically like it's almost like a mathematician looking at day and night and saying that that you can apply the same formula to day and night as meaning and absurdity.
Yeah.
But he has vast visions in this book. He has a vision where he has this image of a holy man from the Bible, Elijah, and Elijah is in love in this whole environment with the woman that sacrificed John the Baptist's head, and like Jung is in this vision, and he can't figure out how this holy man and this woman that like is in our world we detest and we pour scorn over her, and yet they're connected in this world, and it's kind of I can't do it justice. If
Can
you're
I pick
interested,
a line out of this book now and see if I can make any sense of it? One word that was never spoken, one light that was never lit up, an unparalleled confusion, and a road without end. This is all like image 53, here we go. Oh, light in the middle way, enclosed in an egg, embryonic, full of adore, oppressed, fully expectant, dreamlike, awaiting lost memories, as heavy as a stone, hardened, molten, transparent, steaming bright, coiled on itself. He just put a load of words in order, didn't he? Image 54, Amen, you are the Lord of the beginning. This is so fucking heavy, Michael.
yeah, but it's so rich.
On the surface of the soul. This, what was Carl Jung? He was a
Psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist.
Yeah, but he was like, he's had visions. He's the same lad who had a vision of a massive turd falling on a church, massive turd, and for him it was that he had to, like, he viewed himself as a doctor of the soul. So that's why Jungian psychology is very much, it's more wishy-washy than maybe Freud or someone else, where it's more grounded in science and grounded in what can be determined by, it's more linked to maybe a scientific view of the world, where Jung is more into an abstract view of the world.
Yeah.
But like these are his inner writings, that like he had these visions and he just wrote them down or whatever. And when I say visions, it was like a dream-like state that he'd enter. He was a big believer in dreams and the power of them and the symbolism of them. So it's basically just a catalogue of his dreams and everything. But it was only published in the early 2000s when his family allowed it to go into publication.
The work of the unconscious has to happen first and foremost for us ourselves. Our patients profit from it indirectly. The danger consists in the prophet's delusion, which often is the result of dealing with the unconscious. It is the devil who says, disdain all reason and science, mankind's highest powers. That is never appropriate, even though we are forced to acknowledge the existence of the irrational.
Last night he was going through a vision where he found that joy and pleasure, that when we find joy, then we find pleasure, but when finding pleasure it leads to hell. But it was like this idea that like we just always have to be moving. We can't be attached to our success, attached to the good things in life. We just have to keep moving with the flow of life.
You have to do that, don't you? Because otherwise you get depressed when it's over.
Yes. Yeah.
That come down, or you were reaching for like an All-Ireland final or something, and then it's over, it's tomorrow, the day after, and now what? Then we talk about 96 for another 25 years.
Have I anything else to say? Oh yeah, there was a mathematician, Marc, in 2008. He predicted that the first person to live to 1,000 is already alive.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He said that there's a 50-50 chance of reaching longevity escape velocity within 20 years. And when getting there, people will no longer die of age-related illness. Your biological age remains at 30 or 40. So the risk of death will remain similar to that of a young adult.
Would you like that? Would you like to be 1,000? But your body will be 30.
If my body was 30 or 40, definitely, yeah.
Really?
All for that, yeah. Look at the man that you had one-to-one, and he is in his 60s.
70s.
70s. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, do you not look at him and go, bit of that, please?
Yeah, definitely. But I also long for the big sleep.
The big...
I cannot wait.
Tell us about the big sleep.
The big sleep, where just everything turns off. And it's just, that's it. The man, the little pig from Looney Tunes, comes out and goes, that's all, folks. Or maybe I come back as like a rabbit or something.
Yeah, that's
or a TikToker.
Too. A TikToker. With blue hair.
But if you live to 1,000, that also means other people can live to 1,000. Which means you will have 1,000 years of someone you don't like. You could have 1,000 years of someone ringing you about a council house every day.
Yeah.
I'm pregnant again. We need one with a bigger room. Like, this is her 67th baby.
Imagine council houses. Yeah, the 89th bedroom development in
The council mansions.
council mansions. Wow. I was also reading the book, Mark, and it's about love, my favourite topic. And he said that he has a friend who's vegan, and she has a vision that. Speaking of which, I might be going vegan.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
stick a pin in that. What are we going back to? The woman. Oh yeah, she had a vision. What was she saying in her visions? That money will become nothing. That we won't believe in money. It's just, and we won't want power because it just demands too much energy of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
When is this going to happen?
I don't know. And she said, he asked her if she would know the lottery numbers. And she said, don't be a prick, Connor.
Wait, was this a book?
It's in the book, but he's counting it as part of the memoir. He's like saying, yeah, I don't have the book with me, so.
Yeah, I don't see the thirst for power dying anytime soon. It's been around since
it's changing,
the start.
though.
It's changing, maybe.
It's changing. Like, look at the interest in politics today.
Yeah.
Like, compare that to 50 years ago. You know, everyone thought there was a need to, like, have that secretary in that little branch. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's changing. Everything's changing. That's the beauty of it. Like, when I think of the change and I think of like, oh, Janie, sure, like phones everyone's attached to their phones. I'm attached to my phone. Why are we going? And then you realise, hang on, but there's a bigger evolution happening here. It's not, and it's in all ways. But then it's easier to step back and just let it be. Drink it in, man.
Drink it in, man. Let time go by. You're not going to stop it.
Yeah.
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 Take it as it comes. Speaking of lottery numbers,
Yeah.
I've been doing more cold reading practice.
Okay.
On the baby. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to let the two of yous come up with a sequence of 4 numbers.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come back in. I'm going to go one by one. I'm going to get you to count to 10. And I'm going to stop you on the number in that sequence. So I'll go Shane first for the first number, you for the second. Or I might go in the opposite direction. Who knows? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, lovely.
Talk amongst yourselves.
As you have you any numbers?
Numbers. I don't mind. Just pick.
Numbers close to my heart are 3, 7, 11. That's numbers that Ashton and I picked in a horse race in the Leopardstown student race day.
3, 7,
So
11.
3, 7, 11, and we can add in a number.
How did you pick this in the... That was like the...
It was just...
Number 7 and number 11 were the three horses?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah, they all lost, but
Oh,
we kind of just had this say of like, oh, 3, 7, 11 are going to win, and we just went with it then. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Right, so we're on 3, 7.
11, and is it?
No,
do you
sorry.
want 4 numbers
Yeah, but it's 1 to 10, so like it'd be... It's a 4-digit code.
within up to 10,
So
1 to 10?
It'd be 3, 7, 1, 1.
Okay.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
Right, should you want to summon him back in?
Sure.
Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to switch it up just to prove I'm right. Michael, start counting to 10.
Okay. 1 second. I will do it out loud in a moment.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Oh, fuck it.
3 is the first number. Shane.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. 3, 7. Michael.
1,
1.
2.
1.
Oh!
He tried to keep going. Shane.
Does it have to be in particular order?
Yeah.
Alright, so that's step 1.
Yeah.
Right. 1.
Yeah.
You're very good at it. Well, I'd love to see you do it with strangers. I think that's what we'll do next.
Okay.
Because I'm a giveaway every time.
Right, okay.
I just start smirking at you. It's like to the paper chooses audience.
I loved your tactic of trying to ignore me when I come on as well.
I'll do that with the cops as well. Answer the question, Michael. Just give me a
They
moment.
try to arrest you, bro.
Just keep counting down. It's like 1, 2. Michael, where are the bodies? 3, 4.
Now, I also have a topic prepared for you.
Oh,
this
brilliant.
morning, Michael. So
Very good.
I want to talk about the Tendai Buddhist monks.
10 who?
Tendai, Tendai.
Okay.
And the practice of Kyogre.
Wow.
Kyogre.
Right.
Okay, so Kyogre is the practice that involves a marathon every day for 1,000 days on a mountain. So this was a practice by these monks in Japan. I believe it was Japan. On Mount Hai, and other nearby mountains. So what they would do was every day for 100 days they had to run a marathon. And after those 100 days, they would go and meet with the elder monks, and seek permission to do the 1,000-day challenge. That would start the next day. So they'd do this marathon every day to get into this challenge, where they would do it every day. And the distances, it would take 7 years, and the distances would increase every year. So, but if you failed to complete the 1,000 days, you had to commit suicide. You had to kill yourself. You weren't coming back unless you completed the 1,000 days. And on this mountain, there are hundreds and hundreds of graves of monks who didn't complete the challenge.
Oh my gosh.
So it was to seek enlightenment. It was the quest for enlightenment. So part of Tendai Buddhism's teaching is that enlightenment can be attained in the current life. It is through the process of selfless sacrifice and devotion that this can be achieved. And Kyogre is seen as the ultimate expression of this desire. By the end of this practice, the monks have achieved a form of identification with the emanation of Buddha, known as Fudu Myo.
How long has this been going?
This has been going on. Also, this is history. This is it's a very old practice. 1 second now. I'll try to find the history. It started in. They don't have to commit suicide anymore, the ones who do it. But through the years 831 to 918, this is when they'd have to commit suicide.
Okay.
So
Gosh, it's so old.
Yeah. The selection process for Kyogre is after the first 100 days of practice. The Gyoga practice person will petition to the senior monks to complete the remaining 900 days. In the first 100 days, withdrawal from the challenge is possible. But from day 101 onwards, the monk is no longer allowed to withdraw. Historically, he must either complete the course or take his own life. In contemporary times, this is symbolic, and the selection process ensures that those who embark on the practice will complete it. The mountain has many unmarked graves from those who failed their quest, although none date from either the 20th or 21st century. So maybe it was even longer they were committing suicide.
And do we know about how many that have enjoyed rewards from it? Did they say about any monks that have really...
Only 46 men have completed the 1,000-day challenge since 1885.
Wow.
Of these, 3 people have completed the circuit twice. Most recently, Yusai Saki, who died in 2013, who first went from 1973 to 1980, and then after a year's pause, went again, finishing his second round in 1987 at the age of 60.
Wow.
So here it is broken down. So year 1, 40 kilometers per day for 100 days. Year 2, 40 kilometers per day for 100 days. Year 3, 40 kilometers a day for 100 days. Year 4 is the same. Year 5 is the same. And then in year 6, it's 60 kilometers per day for 100 days. And then in year 7, it's 84 kilometers per day for 100 days.
Oh my gosh.
Followed by 40 kilometers a day for 100 days.
Whoa. That's savagery.
Isn't
Would you
it?
be tempted by it?
By that, no.
No.
No, not by that. Maybe a marathon. Once.
I've been once, yeah. There's a lad, I've done 2 weeks of it, and he does 1 run a week training for a marathon.
1 a week?
So, yeah.
A long one?
A long one, yeah. 16 kilometres.
16. And is that increasing every week?
not till you do 10 weeks of 16 weeks or 16 kilometers, and then it goes up a bit then.
And this man, he runs marathon.
He ran a marathon there, and I applied this training program, and I looked at it and thought, Jamie, I might do that.
Yeah, because you only have to train once a week.
Exactly. Yeah. And junior B can continue. It's grand.
It can flourish.
It can flourish.
Yeah. Shane played junior B last night.
Who were you playing with?
Askamore with 14 men.
Oh,
So
it's always a challenge.
Yeah, it's away in fucking Askamore as well. So yeah, we scrambled there. So we were calling around lads to try to get someone there at 7:30, and we were all sat in the dressing room. No one showed up, so had to go out with 14 men. And obviously no warm up then, so hamstring went there.
Oh,
after
Jamie.
15 minutes, and like it's usually I've done my right hamstring twice in the last 2 years, but this time it was my left hamstring.
Oh.
So yeah, that's me out for about 3 or 4 weeks anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, we were supposed to play. Was it your second junior B team? So,
No, you've been on white.
You was on Wednesday. Oh no, that was Cranford actually. We were supposed to play you like 2 weeks ago. Right?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, like just couldn't get a referee to play Cranford on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh,
We were
really?
supposed to play at 7:30, at
It's junior B, baby.
4 to 6. Apparently there's no referee organised.
Oh, Jamie.
Yeah.
Right.
Fun week.
Are you Nevena White?
James Owens was refereeing last night. Yes, Nevena White, yeah.
Nevena White Pride Worldwide. James Owens was refereeing.
Yeah.
Who were you playing?
He blew a foul against me. But
Boo!
Boo.
Yeah. James Owens. What would he know about hurling? Who were you playing against?
Ferns. We won. But like that, it's the Monks should have developed this playing junior B with 14 men. That's a bit of a challenge, isn't it?
You were cornerback?
I was cornerback, yes. Taken off at half time. 13.
For who?
For Joe Nocton.
Joe Nocton.
Do you know him?
Oh, I do. Young man. Yeah.
Only back played a few weeks there. And he's great ability, but he prefers out the field.
And
I like the backs.
You didn't throw a Keen Savage-esque stink when you were taking off?
No. I just went for a piddle and I went to talk with Tom Byrne, but went back to my dugout then and consulted with Jack Malloy and K.O. Travers and the other enlightened gentlemen of the Nevena team.
Very good.
So now...
And you didn't hurt anyone?
Not today, no. No Cranford opponents, everyone was safe. I like Ferns though, they don't really get too excited about Junior B. They just kind of... Actually, they did. Actually, number 10 and number 14 had an awful row between them. I roared for that ball. I didn't hear you. And then it was just back and forth. So, I was marking Miley. Miley couldn't go to the match today. Miley is too busy with work this week, so he's taking it off and he'll watch it on the telly instead. So, Miley, take it easy.
Take it easy, Miley. Who were your fullback counterparts, fullback line?
Oh, John Sprong O'Brien.
Oh.
He'll be there. He'll live to 1,000.
He will live to 1,000. He was calling the shots in there.
Yeah.
And he will be there.
Barry Kinsella in the goal.
Oh, Jesus, yeah, the fucking weren't too bad. Who was the other
Ryan O'Callaghan. He is tidy out. He's a savage quarterback. I'm just there because I'm very committed to it. I'm the captain. You know.
Are you?
Yeah, I go into the toss and all. Did you know I'm going to let out my secret? No, I'm not. No, I'm better. Always go tails.
Always go tails?
Always.
Always go tails.
Always. Whatever it is.
Always tails.
Yeah.
Now, if you get to a county final,
right,
can I write the speech?
Yes.
You heard it, it's here.
To Matty Behan. Like you do. You make it from the 4 proud corners of Ireland.
I'm going to mention Hillary Clinton somewhere in
Oh, that'd be great.
Jack O'Brien would love that.
Yeah, Jack O'Brien. I had a dream last night about Jack O'Brien, actually. I'm only coming to it now.
He's writing about
Jack
that.
O'Brien has... No, it's...
Jack O'Brien isn't in the red book.
No, he's not in the red book. Jack O'Brien was... Well, I found out about Jack O'Brien last night. He's been getting into all the matches and he'd be putting up a stinker if he wasn't getting an allocated parking space.
This is in real life.
No, but it's in dream. In
Okay.
my dream world, it was saying that Jack O'Brien and Mickey Shields, Mickey Shields was asking someone, "Why are you so mean to Jack O'Brien?" Well, because he always, whenever I'm over the gate, he makes me get him a parking space, and he becomes abusive and like, "Do you know who I am?" That was a great dream. I love how only you mentioned that. I wouldn't have thought of that dream there.
Apparently, the other night, Breed was breastfeeding in the middle of the night, and I was asleep.
Jack O'Brien walked in.
Jack O'Brien walked in, yes, and he was looking for some.
Right, okay.
No, apparently, like, the baby is breastfeeding, and she makes this noise, like, when she's breastfeeding. And I was in my sleep, and the baby was going, and I started going.
Oh, no, you
So
did
it's
that.
just breathing to the two of us.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Shane, any closing thoughts?
No, I think I'm all out of
Yeah.
thoughts today.
There's a sauna open in Ballymoney, and it's a
Yeah.
tenner for half hour, and it's wood fired, and it looks class, and I'm going to enjoy that.
Are you? Tomorrow? Very nice.
So now that's all from us. Have a good day. Wexford might win, and hopefully it's cloudy.
Hopefully, yes. Come on, Wexford. What time?
3:40.
3:45. Come
By
on.
the time this goes out, we'll have known if Wexford.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
well done.
Wexford, well played.
Well played, Wexford. Thank you very much. We've been the two Johnnies. We'll see you next week.